What is up, comic fam? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Legion of Comics. This is new DC day for most of the people out there.
What is up, comic fam? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the
Legion. Had that background playing. So most people know that DC Comics drop on Tuesdays. For a lot of people, it's Wednesdays for other people. So it's part one of the 48-hour event known as New Comic Book Day. And we're going to look at what came out this week. There's a lot in DC news to discuss, a lot of things to be excited about, a few things to be bummed about. And we're also going to talk about Comics Curing Cancer, the huge charity event that we're hosting here on YouTube this coming weekend. But before we do any of that, let's hit that intro. So as you can see from that special intro, there's a lot of information there. We're going to cover more of the details as the show progresses, but I'm going to bring in a good friend who's joining me for today, none other than Mr. Flo Dameron, the co-host of the Bada Boom podcast. How are you, good sir?
I'm good. It's a great day indeed.
Dude, it's a huge day. Before we go any farther, because more people catch the front end of the video than the back end of the video, please tell everybody what you do and where to find you.
Yeah, for sure. I co-host the Bada Boom podcast with my friend Troy, where we cover all things comics, media. We've had some really cool guests like Christian Ward, who just dropped the last issue of Aquaman Andromeda today. We've also had some other guests that are really fun, and we're working on some things, and we just hit 100 subscribers on YouTube. So if you can subscribe on YouTube at Bada Boom Podcast.
Awesome sauce. Yeah, I enjoy listening to you guys. Y'all have a great rapport with each other. Troy does an amazing job editing it together to make it flow smoothly and seamlessly. And y'all have already had some big names on there as well. And I have an idea of some things to expect from y'all in the future that I hadn't even brought up, especially knowing some of the folks that you've rubbed shoulders with in the past couple of weeks at some of these cons and events and stuff. I expect big things from y'all.
Yeah. Hopefully. It's been fun. It's even at our smaller scale right now, just to be able to talk to some awesome creators and have some awesome feedback from people like you, it means a lot. So we keep pushing. We're trying to make it grow and stuff. And even if it didn't grow, it's great to kind of like geek out with some people. And, obviously we tilt DC. So it's fun to kind of have those conversations. And even when a guest is trying to talk about other things like Marvel, we're like, hey, but what about that DC book?
It was we had Dan Waters on. He kept trying to move to his independent book. It didn't work. It didn't work at all.
I was like, hey.
But what about Azrael?
Yeah, but what about Azrael? What about Order of the World, which is an amazing book?
Yeah, it's so good. And if you're a Solomon Grundy fan, don't miss out on that little mini series because it gives you a great issue with Grundy. I love that interaction with him and the 10-eyed man when they just started talking to each other like we are now. Like that's insane. That's insane. Let me say hey to some people in the chat and we'll start diving into some of this stuff. I'm excited to talk about it with you because you're normally one of my point men when it comes to finding news. I don't Twitter, but I do Twitter because of Flo. When something's on Twitter that's worth me reading, he sends it to me. He's like, hey, check this out. I'm like, oh, nice.
I'm like a Twitter bot. I just send them things.
What is up, Las Cruces 1971? Kyle's up in here, Wheelchair Superhero 87. Hey, comic fam, happy new DC Day. We are Legion indeed. Yeah, I apologize. I set this stream when I'm building it ahead of time. I set it at 1 p.m. every time. And Finn's out of school today. I've been running around trying to prepare the Comics Curing Cancer stuff, and I came home knowing I wouldn't be able to do it at 1, so I set it for 2. And at 1:30, my wife had to go into work for a wine class because she's a manager of a restaurant, and they had to put on a class already. They're preparing for the Masters next year, which is in April. So they have to send all their staff through all these classes for stuff that they wouldn't typically do on any other given time of the year. And this is already the second one that they've done. So she wasn't expecting that. So now I'm home alone with the kids. Yeah, we both were. So yeah, appreciate y'all being early. I guess it's 1 instead of 12. Yeah, it's typically always one for the most part. What is going on? X11 Bravo is up in the building. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Brother John's Comics. Hello, hello. What is good with you? The weather and the company in the chat. Be right there watching the ad. Ads. That's what you get for not paying for YouTube. So, Trev, I sent off your new members welcome packet today. And I also sent off the new DC Day prize from last week and mailed it up to Canada. Gene Marlowe won that one. Old man Jim on Instagram. El Green Machine, what is happening? I think it was his welcome pack I sent off. Yeah, Larry. Yeah, I sent out his welcome pack. Trev already got his. And then I sent off something else. The winner, one of the winners from the 1,500 subscriber giveaway, I sent that off today as well, too. Warlord, how are you doing today? Hello, hello. Iggy, how are you? Brian LCS, I appreciate everybody popping in here. Dismay's Comics, how are you? And I've still got to read the books that Dismay sent me. He has his own creator-owned book called Gallow Man. I think it's on Kickstarter, if I'm not mistaken, but he sent me a digital copy to read and review. And yeah, I'm sitting here on a backlog of stuff. I have a stack of stuff over here that's been sent to me by people to create their own stuff to read and review. So I hope he doesn't feel like I've singled his out. I'm behind on a lot of that stuff right now. Awesome, Trev, you got the packet. Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, so a huge week for books. I'm going to breeze through some of these. For once, I have not had a chance to read anything. What's good?
I mix it up to make some more Band-Aids. Okay.
Well,
You mix it up to make some mix.
Dad life.
They're playing
I have to pick up my son in like 20 minutes from the bus, but
yeah,
so I'm feeling it too.
yeah. All right, so we're going to go and kick this off in full steam here. So hit one that I know you're excited about, Aquaman Andromeda, book 3 from Rom V. I don't know if this is the finale, if they're doing just a 3-issue story arc on this or what.
It's the finale.
Okay.
You know, it's been such a great book. It's a great format for Christian Ward's art, which is
Absolutely.
really trippy. If you've ever, for me, my favorite series of his is the Black Bolt with Saladin Ahmed from years ago. It definitely kind of picks that up. I haven't read it. I actually have to pick up my stuff tomorrow.
If you look, it's one of those partly glossed, partly matted covers. I love how they do these. It just makes
issue 2 has like one of the best Black Manta covers.
Black
ever.
Manta, yeah, that was wicked. It was super dope. And then, so I'm pumped for that. Like you said, a great format. I love the prestige format stuff. I really do enjoy those oversized ones. They're just fun to sit there and read. And then we got, I believe, the finale to Joshua Williamson's first Black Label title, Rogues. Long wait between 3 and 4 here. That last one left us on a crazy cliffhanger. So I'm pumped to see how Flash Rogues villains, at least the ones that are still alive, if any of them make it out of Gorilla City, especially since it ended with them holding Gorilla Grodd's infant prince child hostage in the last issue. That's a very bold strategy they're taking. So I'm assuming you haven't been reading that one.
I actually had put all 3 issues in my bag because I was like, oh, like it's all done. Like there hasn't been an issue in a while. And then I was reading like the solicitations and I'm like, oh, there's one more. So I've been waiting to kind of read those together. I did read the first issue, which was amazing, but I kind of want to read that. I want to binge it, you know, being that it's only 4 issues.
We'll tell him, go ask him nicely not to. So here's one. This was actually my blind pick of the week going in. And it's unusual that I picked something like this, but it's Marvel Family issue number 1, reprinting the first appearance of Black Adam from December of 1948. It's the first appearance and only appearance of Black Adam in the Golden Age before he made his actual Silver Age appearance where he stuck around for a while. This had never been reprinted before, and they call it a facsimile because it's like one of the true to form reprints with all the ads and everything in it, you know, like it's a perfect copy minus the barcode. Facsimile, I guess that's what that means. But this I was pumped for. I've never actually read it, and I was kind of worried because I got a few copies of it, and normally these facsimiles have been like $7-8, you know, because they're thick.
Yeah.
This one's not like that. So Marvel Family Comics wasn't big like that. $4 price tag, but like I said, I got a few of those.
Because it's only the Captain Marvel and Marvel family story, like whereas like Action Comics and Detective, don't they have other stories in them?
Yes, those are
Yeah.
anthology books.
Yeah.
You know, they have a Western, like the first appearance of Superman in Action One. Cher's the first appearance was Zatara, Zatanna's dad. You know, who's,
Oh,
so like if you're a Zatanna,
that's where the value is, honestly.
yeah, if you're a Zatanna completionist, you're
That's-
screwed. So yeah, I got a lot of those because this was strange. It wasn't strange, but they rushed this to order. Like they announced this, and you had like 48 hours to FOC it, and they were getting it out even quicker because they wanted it to come out this week for the movie, obviously, you know. So I reached out to people because I was aware of it. I got it ordered, and then reached out to people
What's up,
after.
Ryan?
I reached out to people in the Legion, you know, as well as in the Link Squad, and asked like, "Hey guys, if any of y'all missed this, were interested, let me know. I'll grab you one because my shop caught it ahead of time. You know, I talked to Paul and he ordered enough, so I picked up copies for people in the community member. A couple are for me, one's for Panda, one's for Never Could Figure It Out. I got a list of people who asked for them, but a couple are for me. I was going to keep one and then give one away Sunday night for sure on the at Week's End. That'll be a Black Adam spoiler spectacular, which I can't wait. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait to see the movie. Taylor Winder's in the building. What is up, man?
So
Are you going Friday?
Hell no.
No, I'm going Thursday too.
Same here. I would go sooner. No. We'll go ask her not to do it. He comes walking, rubbing his head. I don't get in the middle of sandbox politics.
You shouldn't. It's really like Lord of the Flies in your house.
right.
I keep the Golders put away. We all saw how that ended. But next up, we do have a Dark Crisis tie-in this week. Dark Crisis Young Justice number 5 of 6. We had the big reveal in the last issue that the person creating this false paradise that they're in was not Pariah, but none other than Mxyzptlk's child, Mickey Mxyzptlk, who just like his father, who was a Superman
I have
fan.
to say, I'm really impressed that you pronounced that.
Right.
I've been saying that word since
I would have just been
4
like,
years
hey,
old.
that Superman villain that you have to say his name backwards.
I remember coming home in the evening time and sitting down and eating some food and watching the Superboy TV show when it was airing in the early 90s. And Mxyzptlk was a character on that. He showed up in Superman and Lois. He's been one of the few reoccurring characters that have made it in through a lot of the live interpretations on television because he's such an easy villain to do. You just get a goofy old man and put him in some goofy tights, you know. But just like his dad, he's the biggest fan of the Young Justice, so he's touring with them. I'm waiting to see how it has any implication or tie into Dark Crisis now that that's the case, other than just taking Impulse out of the Flash issues, which, I mean, it would have been sort of better to have him there. So what are they doing here to make this Dark Crisis related? You know what I mean? Ragman Comics is in the building. What is up, my friend? I have your tracking stuff. Something's up there. I sent your wins off today, my good sir. I'll shoot you the tracking here in a little bit. Yes, ma'am.
Are you done yet?
Not yet. Go watch Addams Family.
No.
Okay, don't. What is going on, Pops?
You're done laughing yet.
So this pains me to say I picked this up, but I'm going to suffer through all of these, and I'm telling y'all,
Is it a
Wow.
Marvel book?
as well be.
Right.
So this is
I
Batman.
mean, suffer through. Like Two-Face wasn't bad. It was just
Two-Face was terrible.
oh my god.
We'll
If you like Tamaki's Detective Comics run, it is not terrible.
No, I don't think, and I made the distinction. This is not a bad story. This is a terrible what they told us this story would be.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be a definitive Two-Face story spotlighting on like something foundational, something new foundational to carry this character. You're supposed to think Two-Face, and this should be like on your short list of recommendations of what's defining about this character kind of thing. That's what this whole series is solicited as. Mariko Tamaki gave us what could have been just a 2-issue filler story inside the pages of Detective. I don't think it was a bad story, but there wasn't anything groundbreaking, anything foundational, and there wasn't even a one bad day aspect to it. It was like the Wonder Woman one shot they did for the Worlds Without a Justice League. It actually doesn't fit into the parameters of what you're trying to do. Like the topic didn't.
I will say that you know, in the case of Riddler, he's never really had one of those. With Two-Face, he has the long Halloween. You know, there's a reason why, like,
I
there's
won't
not a
argue that.
Joker one.
We
You
talked
can
about
you
that.
could flip off 20 Joker stories. So
No,
I
there
feel
is a Joker one, and that's what these are doing. The Killing Joke is the Joker one. That's the
oh no,
one.
that's what I
that-
mean. But I mean in the context of this new anthology piece where it's like, hey, like these are characters we feel deserve a spotlight. And I think the Mr. Freeze one is not going to be great either because guess what? The animated series did it. So there's no getting better than that. So it's not going to get better than the long Halloween.
I think Sean Gordon Murphy did it in a sense as well with that Mr. Freeze one shot that they did inside of Curse of the White Knights run. That was actually really good. They had Klaus Janson come in for it and everything, and it kind of touched more on his backstory than his present. I know.
Yeah. So I liked it, and that may be because I really like Tamaki's run on Detective. I don't think it was amazing or groundbreaking, but you know, I didn't feel like I had to suffer. I was suffering through that.
I didn't not like it as much as Mark, but I felt like, and I like Tamaki's run on Detective, but it felt like leftover pieces of scripts that were like left on the cutting room floor. Like, oh, this piece of this script, this little story element, this little like B plot I want to do, like it doesn't fit in these issues. So like, let's round them up and give them to an artist and turn it into a Two-Face issue and make it part of the One Bad Day thing. Like it was
fair enough.
It wasn't bad, you know, but it just didn't really fit the vibe of what they're supposed to be aiming for with those.
Yeah.
Taylor says you pick it up physically only if it delivers. My thing with this, the only reason I'm saying suffer through it is because of who's writing this one. This is John Ridley. John Ridley, I can build a. If you're a John Ridley fan, I can convince you why he's not a good writer for DC. But that being said, it's because of what he's done to heroes at DC. He wrote what was easily the worst interpretation of Superman that has ever existed in comic books. Easily. And then he went on to do some kind of magnum opus in the other history of the DC universe that I was excited about. And I get there and he spends 4 issues explaining to us how the Teen Titans and Superman again were overbearing, racist pieces of trash when we didn't really know them. Like that's crazy, especially when you think of the creative team that really defined people like the Teen Titans when it's the polar opposite. It's just so disrespectful to the characters, to the industry, to the fans. I have no respect for creators like that. Just trying to play identity politics in comics. And there's a difference between writing a good message and delivering a message and hopefully motivating people and then just dumping your ideological BS in books at the sake of characters and people's fandom. That's not good writing. That's lazy trash. And now he's attached to this series. So unfortunately, I picked up a John Ridley book. That being said, he's a real life villain when it comes to the industry, in my opinion, and he's writing a villain. So maybe it'll deliver. Small rant over.
All right. Gotcha. You know, Mark has found his Tom King.
I gave John really a fair shake. Like I was.
I mean, you bought the book.
I went to the right. I hung in there. Like I'm giving him a shake on this because now it's a villain. You know, maybe it'll be different. You know, I think he is a talented writer. I'm not going to argue that. It's what he's writing is just trash.
Yeah, no, comics is a different form. I think sometimes it's hard to make that transition. I think it's a little weird that he gets so much comics work. You know, sometimes they'll put, you know, those like those crossover writers on like one big book, which I thought, you know, the new Batman would be it, and that's it. But, you know, they obviously gave him the Superman story, gave him the other history of the DC universe, gave him this. He's writing Black Panther at Marvel.
And also he's doing I Am Batman, which I picked up the next Batman that led into it. It was like 6 issues. It wasn't bad. I thought he did good on that. But then I just kind of fell off of John Ridley as a whole because that was coming out around the same time as he was doing unforgivable stuff to characters. And I wouldn't take that cop out because
it's not. Yeah,
it's not.
The thing he did with Superman was not woke. That was just insane.
It was And the thing that they were doing with the other history of the DC universe, I'll admit, that's a hard line to teeter because the whole concept behind the book was doing the history of the DC universe, which was that 2-issue prestige format special they did in the 80s post-crisis to introduce people to the DC universe post-crisis, because even longtime readers were being reintroduced to a new formatted world. So they wanted to do one where we take a look back at these disenfranchised characters, as they would call them, like characters that just really didn't have the spotlight, all from a minority. And I can get like the social aspect of how things have changed and how things have been improving out better, but to pretend like your teammates, the heroes that take you in and all this, despite your ethnicity, that they were bad to you, that they were like, that's outrageous. That's crazy. It's crazy. It's just having a lack of knowledge of the universe that you're helping to craft. It was just horrible.
And I think sometimes things can always be better, but I think people sometimes disregard what others did to move things forward.
Yes, they do.
Especially certain characters, and they've always been creators that have pushed things forward. Again, things can always be better, but I think sometimes people are like, things have always been bad. There's never been anyone that's fought for anything.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had a conversation with somebody about the first appearance of Shang-Chi. They were like talking about how, like, at the time, like that was a very progressive book to bring like a front running an Asian character and everything and this and that. And they made the comment to me like, well, sure, the creators were trying, but they didn't try hard enough. I'm like, bro, what, you have to put it in context of the time. They moved the needle forward so much. You can't expect someone 40 years ago to make the plays of pushing the needle forward in 2022. It's a progression. Like it's
if that book doesn't exist, the Shang-Chi movie from last year doesn't exist.
Like, it's absolutely crazy. You wanted to discredit the creators altogether. I'm like,
baby steps.
what are you talking about?
Right.
Again,
learn to run before you can walk.
Back, it's, some of those stereotypes have obviously moved in a different direction because obvious things, but it exists, and because it existed, now we have Shang-Chi, the movie, the 10 Rings, and obviously that did really well.
Yeah, it was fun, and I can't been able to rewatch it. I've tried. I'm like,
is that it? The first half is really good. The second half is like really bad, and it's one of those movies you have to experience in a theater. Like, it was really good when I saw it in the theater, but I can't watch it at home.
No, once I go into the forest, it escalates too quick.
There's cool parts of it. Anyways, next book up, I'm super pumped for this because this is a sleeper tie into Dark Crisis. It has been from the start. They've been teasing some major universe shifting in this. We're messing with hyper time, and it's Flashpoint Beyond, issue number 6 of 6. And Jeff Johns did that private Zoom meeting call with comic shops that they opened up to comic shop owners to check out. And on that call, he said that if you are a fan of the Justice Society of America and you haven't been picking up the series, you might want to pick up this issue. If you are looking forward to the Golden Age one-shot coming that he's doing, the Stargirl series that he's doing, or the JSA run that he's about to do, you might want to pick up this issue.
I've heard if you like Watchmen, you'd hate that issue.
Why would you tell me that? I've been so excited to see if Dr. Manhattan pulls out. But I've
heard there's some weird things. Twitter obviously ruins everything. But
the preview pages came out for it, and actually I liked what they were showing on the preview pages with the connection between the Snow Globe and the Watch.
Yeah.
I thought that made a lot of sense, and I thought that was a power play by Bruce. Like, I'm like, dude, I think he would do that too. Like,
I like the series. Ultra caught me up on it. I've been collecting the series, but I haven't been reading it, and now it's in boxes, and I can never pull it out. so now with DC Ultra. But on that note, I gotta go pick up my son from in front of the house. The bus is about to arrive.
All right, bro.
Thanks for having me on. I'll be in the chat.
And next up from Jeremy Adams, we have Flash 787. This is the first issue now that the Dark Crisis tie-ins are over. That was an awesome 4-issue story arc where they did the search for Barry Allen. Spoiler alert, they found him. He's back in Dark Crisis proper. And now I have a feeling we're probably going to have a couple of just fun filler issues to kind of get the timing right with the ending of Dark Crisis. You know, that tends to happen when books wrap up an arc before an event's done, because they want to kind of line up events moving forward. But I know you haven't been reading that, but I know you've been reading this. Black Adam number 5 of 12 from Christopher Priest was out. This has been pretty dope, and this one has got theogony written on the cover, whatever that is, but we're dealing with a lot of new gods, a lot of new hierarchies that self-profess them to be even Black Adam's pantheon of gods, whether they want to admit it or not. You're muted, Ryan. I don't know if he knows that he's muted. He might be working on something.
No, I don't know anything. Okay. Dude, I'm just rolling the dice every choice I make all day.
One way to live.
Yeah, they they dropped a pretty big I wouldn't say a bomb, but like a pretty big like piece of lore and intrigue with all the gods in the last one. So I'm hoping this issue kind of explores that and lets us know more about what's going on. Zero interest in seeing Batman show up, but it sounds like he's going to be there, so whatever. But yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed Malik as a character. I think he's been pretty cool.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see like him learn more, see more of his progression, and then also like learn about this new theology stuff and these gods that formed from this bacteria that Black Adam swallowed in space.
I can't remember who it was, but we got him at the tail end of the last issue. The gods decided to name their own champion, and Black Adam was standing across
Sargon. Sargon the sorcerer.
Yeah, you're standing across from Sargon, who's been named their champion. So we should be getting some cool. And one thing I like is like typically, just stereotypically, you have Black Adam standing across face to face from the professed champion of this new pantheon of gods. Naturally, you would think it's time to swing fists. But where this book is different, we're about to get into some philosophical stuff and some deep thinking, and then we'll swing some fists probably. So I'm excited about how deep this book is going and how rich this story is really building out. If you're new or unfamiliar to Black Adam, this is a heavy read, I'm not going to lie, but it's a good example of some of the stuff that you could really do with this character and how rich of a character it really is, even though he's just like, a lot of people think he's just an anti-Captain Marvel and anti-Shazam. There's just so much more to this character, despite the outfits looking same, that sets him apart from Captain Marvel. Yeah,
I don't know how this character started, and honestly, like I've never read much, if anything, of like Captain Marvel stuff.
Well,
but I do really like what we're getting in Black Adam because of what you explained. Like on the surface, he looks like this antithesis to the Marvel family, but he is like completely his own character in his own world. You're just going to read each of those once, right? And then you're going to be like an expert.
Yeah, no, I can give you his backstory. So in this book, a mysterious character wearing the Marvel family outfit, black and gold version of the Marvel family outfit, shows up at an intersection where he starts questioning his surroundings, and a police officer tries to talk to him to get him out of the street, and he immediately tries to rip him in half for talking down to his superiors. The Marvel family, Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr. show up, fight him for a minute, and have to scurry off, go hit up the wizard and ask him, what's up with this guy? And the wizard then explains, he was my first champion. I gave him the powers way back in ancient Egypt, and he immediately went to his head and he started trying to conquer, and I couldn't take the power away from him. That's not something that's in his abilities. So the best he could do was banish him. So he sent him to the farthest star in the entire universe, and he dumped him there. So for the past 5,000 years, Teth Adam has been flying through space back toward Earth. And in this issue was his arrival back on the planet. And he's pissed.
Can you imagine?
I can't. You know how hungry you would be? I would be starved. I'd be famished. 5,000 years of flying straight. But that's a pretty cool concept, you know. Talk about a way to jade a person. Another one I know you're picking up that you're probably excited about. Issue number 8 of Mark Waid and Dan Mora's World's Finest. Top tier book right here.
Yeah, I'm like halfway through that one so far. Read it in the lobby of the dentist's office this morning.
I think I would have found it all around the 3,000th year.
All it really makes me think of is that episode of Futurama when Bender's like floating through space. He gets like the bacteria on him and like cultures like a whole society and stuff on his chest and everything.
I didn't see that one.
What? Oh, it's a great episode. Like he becomes a god. Like it's basically Black Adam. Like He's just like floating through space forever, lost forever. And then like he like gets some bacteria or something on him. It cultivates like a whole culture, and they like look up to him as a god, and it obviously goes to his head. And great episode. Then there is a god.
Sea turtle with the universe on his back. That's funny.
Yeah, malevolent.
Yeah. So next up, this is probably going to be my second or third reading this stack. I'm definitely reading Flashpoint Beyond first, but this is right up toward the top. Is Deceased: War of the Undead Gods, issue number 3 from Tom Taylor. This series has already delivered on the scope and scale and beyond that the other ones have. Getting to play with the new gods, with Apocalypse, it's just wicked. Getting Clark back with the bionic arm is absolutely amazing. Getting Flo back has been the highlight of this series.
I'm back like I never left.
Yeah, well, we'll backtrack one. We just hit World's Finest. Are you up to speed on that now with Ultra? Have they got that uploaded yet on there?
Yeah, I mean, I again, it's one of those series I collect. I think last issue I read was the Green Lantern one.
Oh,
but I think I have to catch up because I'm actually up to date on Batman versus Robin. so now I kind of have to like read that to kind of like, oh wait, you know. And the last issue was like when Batman, you know, he realizes like, oh shit, I like 50 years ago I fought this demon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, World's Finest is fire, man.
Yeah, I mean, I love everything DC.
You have to get through the first story arc at least. That first 5 issues, I believe it was.
Yeah, you're like one issue shy of finishing out the story.
Yeah, you got to get through that because it goes from that first arc, and then you get just one issue, and it's filler, but it definitely plays to the overall the streamlinedness of the story. They have to go find Robin, who's lost in time, but they cap off that first story arc, and it moves over to Batman v Robin from there.
Yeah, and, even that was relevant to what's going on now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I read backwards. I also read, Shadow War, which I really liked, which is fun. So I'm kind of in all the tie-ins for Damian and Batman's story right now.
The Shadow War was pretty cool. I'm glad that they killed Respawn. That made my day. Because when I started out with the Robin series, I'm like, one of the things I thought was goofy was like we're getting this Respawn character. It just seemed so many just like cheap carbon copy type things going on. It seemed quirky and lame. And now Slade has another kid, and Jesus, it just seemed too lazy. And then they just built him as a mechanism to kill later. Like, nice.
Yeah, I mean the name is Respawn, so and then also he is a cheap copy. He's a clone. So I think that was kind of they knew what it was. It was a cool design character to have in that context, that fight tournament. And then outside of it, it doesn't really survive. Yeah,
at all. He didn't last long at all. But anyways, Deceased: War of the Undead Gods, number 3 of 8. So good. And this is the first issue in the entirety of this series' existence that Mattina did not have a variant on. Like, it was the B covers all the way up until this series, and they moved him over to the 1 in 25s. For issue 1, even the polybag was a version of it. And then with this one, we didn't. But they did give us a Steve Beach cover in its place, and it was this wicked Gorilla Grodd 1 in 25 from Steve Beach, who I have just grown very fond of really fast with his stuff. He's a very wicked, very, very fun cover artist, and this is no exception. Like, it's kind of dope.
That should be a Rogues cover.
It should be. It definitely should be. What is going on, Lisa? The real James Willie is up in the building. But and I also picked up the acetate version, which I've been picking up because I was down for B covers from very, very, very early on because I was assuming they would be Mattina covers, and then I just kind of didn't take them off my list. So I used that first one, which was a Superman acetate. No, Batman, then Superman. Now you get Wonder Woman with that awesome Kale New artwork on the inside. And I've just been giving them away. So that's what is going to be given away today. If people want to go ahead and start putting in the hashtag #WeAreLegion when we're done talking about some of the big announcements from DC, we'll spin for a winner. And fair warning, if you are outside of the continental United States, you do have to help cover shipping. I will cover up to X amount of dollars, but I figured out how much it costs specifically to ship a Gemini to Canada is roughly $24. So got to help cover if you're outside of the United States, if you would like it.
Yeah, I mean, those acetate covers are really cool. Matina, I didn't realize I was reading Spider-Man 2099 on Marvel Unlimited, and he did all the like recent like the 2015 series and stuff like that covers, which were really awesome.
Which ones?
For Spider-Man 2099, when Peter David came back to the series, like I think it was around Secret Wars time.
Oh, not the new Exodus series?
No. I think Stegman did those.
Nice. All right, so we're going to hit on some of this DC news. There's been a crap ton of announcements. What?
You're like, oh, Marvel. Moving on.
Marvel. So there's been a lot of interviews with The Rock, obviously, lately. We have Black Adam premiering this week, opening nationwide, all over the place. And because of that, there's all kinds of information dropping. And yesterday seemed like a huge DC EU news dump, all the way from announcing that the Man of Steel 2 project that is apparently, as of last week, being pushed to being put into development. They attached a writer to it as of yesterday. Dwayne Johnson said that they're using Black Adam as a quote-unquote phase 1 jumping point. And he did an interview where he made it very apparent that all the DCEU movies that came before, all those people still exist, and the way that they're moving things forward is that all of these people have the potential to cross paths with each other at any time they want to, that it is one cohesive world. They're not letting go of stuff. And it was pretty cool because he talked in a sense that he was been wanting to do this, but he just had no participation at all from the old guard at Warner Brothers. They wanted Henry Cavill scrapped. They wanted to do this, that, and the third. But now he's in more of a position to have more of a say in things. So I think that's probably the best thing going for them right now between Zaslav and The Rock. This is exactly what a couple months ago when they did the merger and everyone started freaking out and making stupid memes like, oh, DC's tanking. And a few people pointed out, like, this is exactly what a company that needs a new, better direction would do. Scrap all the trash, refocus, and push hard. And that's exactly what they're doing. And it's really exciting to see some of this stuff coming out of it. So obviously, contingent upon this movie and how it performs, this could be like that launch that it really needs. And it's perfect timing, in my opinion, with how many people are kind of just bummed with the state of Disney right now.
Yeah, it's a good time, but it's one of those things where you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's like, hey, did they drop this because they found out Ezra Miller killed someone? So they need to put, good news out there. But I think what's interesting about that article, it's like really detailed. So it even has, it says Walter Hamada was the person that was specifically saying no to Henry Cavill returning. So it also explains kind of like that awkward, San Diego Comic-Con where like he's being asked about Henry Cavill, and you could kind of tell like he might have been told no before then. But obviously
he was clearly in the process of fighting for it because he did one interview where he made comments about how his agent and Henry Cavill's agent are one and the same, and we were pushing for it. We know the fans are calling for it. We hear you. We are trying. He's like, dude, this dude's like very like upfront as much as he could be. He's upfront about this stuff, without, I guess, like crossing a line with any kind of studio people or anything at the time.
Oh, actually, he did. He kind of like went around back into his new bosses and stuff like that. But I mean, that's why The Rock, outside, he's been so successful. He kind of has that drive of being like, hey, like, you can tell me no, but I'm going to keep pushing. This is what the fans want and stuff. I think that's the direction DC needs to go in. For so long, they kind of like we're like, hey, like we think we know what the fans want, which is this cohesive universe and stuff like that. But it's like people just want good movies. People just want a good Superman movie. They want Henry Cavill as Superman. So why not just give people what they want?
It's so crazy to see how different what they're doing right this minute is compared to when this all started, when you had Warner Brothers hiring people to come in and do their job, and then they would allow them to work and create a film. And when it was done, then Warner Brothers would step in and say, all right, we need to make these changes to it in the last hour. We need to change the color tone, the soundtrack. We need to edit it down to this long and blah, 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 because this will work better. And that was Warner Brothers' big thing 7 years ago, just the studio interference. That's all you hear about was tanking movies. And now you fast forward, you have someone like The Rock saying, just listen to the fans. It's not the studio's job to listen to the fan. Like, that's all you have to do. You don't have to craft this. They're telling you what they want. You have the internet. You have like all these forums where people can voice their opinion, and it's widespread. You know, your work is done for you. It's not a mystery what kind of movie to make. You know, it's not a mystery if people are going to pop seeing Superman come back. You know they're hungry for it. You know, just do it.
Yeah, and what's also interesting is you in the article, outside of the Black Adam tip, Matt Reeves is meeting with writers and directors to, do their own film set in his Batman universe. So, there's a Clayface thing that, they were talking about. I think there was another character that they brought up.
Professor Pig was one.
That's actually what concerns me.
Pitched a second DC movie that's a mystery, so it might not be in the vein of like Suicide Squad. It might be something separate from like Peacemaker and stuff. And then on the Man of Steel thing, obviously it's very early, but one name that was brought up was Christopher McQuarrie, who has directed like the last 3 or 4 Mission Impossible movies. Directed the Mission Impossible with Henry Cavill.
Fallout, yeah, that was the best one. Yeah, that was insane.
There's an interesting interview. Brandon from Comic Book Movie years ago had asked him, like, "Hey, like, do you have what would be your Superman like?" And he said, he and Cavill have talked about it. He was like, when he gets close to people, it's hard not to talk about story. So if they get a director like that to hop on Superman, it's going to be amazing. And then, they said the Flash 2 has already been written. Like it's already written. Obviously it's going to have a different lead. And this time they're going to make sure to not make the main character, the main actor play like 4 different characters. So if they need to reshoot it, they can. So it's a really good article. If you guys want to read it, it's on the Hollywood Reporter and dives really deep into those things. It's very inside baseball and like business kind of things, but that's how the checks get written and stuff. So if you want to know where stuff is going, I think it's a good article to read.
Chris, how are you?
Good. I've been watching and lurking, and yeah, Disney did not necessarily have the best first 3 quarters of the year. I really didn't like Flo. I really didn't like the Multiverse of Madness, and I don't want to get into that because Flo's right beside me. He may jump through.
Yeah, I literally will. If you say anything bad about Sam Raimi again, I'll board a flight right now.
But the truth be told, that came out. I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of it. Thor came out. There was moments in Thor that was good, but overall, it's a mid-grade film. And now the Disney Plus product hasn't been that good, like quality.
Except Werewolf by Night, which was amazing.
And then Werewolf by Night had dropped last week, and that's a game changer. Now I've been on Mark's channel before and said, okay, let's not pass judgment on 2022 until Wakanda Forever comes out, because we all know when Wakanda Forever comes out, that could elevate 2022 when it comes to Marvel.
Too little, too late.
Yeah, it's you can't.
I don't think it's too little, too late, because it's like,
man. Because if Black Adam comes out and tanks, or if it's not good, guess what? Like now, do we turn around and like light the torches and go after DC the same way?
You couldn't, because they gave us the Batman and Peacemaker this year, which I hope you didn't forget about. So
don't start with the Batman, because I will rip that film apart.
You can try, but I'll just point everyone out to a liar. But you can take Peacemaker,
useless character.
You can take Peacemaker and the Batman only, which were both successes, hits. Fans loved them, critics loved them, like both. Chris doesn't necessarily like it, but you're Canadian. And then you can take Black Panther, that is the best movie of the year, and you're still outnumbered.
That's not true
But then
because
you also have Werewolf by
by
Night.
Night can equal what Peacemaker said. What Peacemaker did.
God, no. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, Chris.
Come on.
I have to.
I
I
love
was with you for
Werewolf
like
by
a
Night.
minute there.
I'll get it. I'll point out the distinction just on 7 more hours of Peacemaker alone. I'll give them equal. I'll call them equal, and you're still outnumbered by 7 hours. When have you seen this show go for 8 straight episodes and just slap like that? Like that was something. I wasn't expecting it to be that good across the board, man. Like I'll admit I'm a fanboy to heart, but I can still say like, yeah, I liked it, but it wasn't great kind of thing. I enjoyed Morbius. I know that movie was trash, but I watched it knowing I was going into trash, and I'm like, dude, this feels like one of those like Priest or something like that with Paul Bettany. It felt like one of those movies from the early 2000s. I watched it.
What's funny about Morbius?
Morbius has nothing to do with the conversation that we're having.
I'm just saying, like, I can make the distinction. Peacemaker was objectively good. That was good from start to finish.
Okay.
That sounds
But
like your
again,
opinion.
the Batman, again, visually stunning, pretty good soundtrack, useless character. Did absolutely nothing relevant to that plot. You could pick Batman up, put me into that movie, and the exact same thing would have happened throughout the movie. Useless character.
I didn't hear Batman apologize one time.
Hey, I wouldn't apologize either. I'm not necessarily your story-bred Canadian.
Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
Sorry.
But no, again, I'm not writing off 2022 until Wakanda Forever comes out.
Yeah, I'm looking.
That's fair.
forward
That's
to
going to
it.
be an event. I agree with that. And to be honest, like there's so much Marvel stuff. It's a bad thing. A lot of it's forgettable. So it's like
And it's
I think we have to get to the point. You have
it's
to look
almost
at it like-
unfair. It's almost unfair to compare the two properties at this point because you're coming forward with just 2 pieces of content where Marvel's come out with all of this.
Stargirl, Superman and Lois, Peacemaker, the Batman, DC.
None of those tie into the DCEU though.
I'm
the
not
way
talking about
Peacemaker
timeline.
does.
I'm talking about just the quality of content they put out. DC doesn't have a tied-in universe, but they put out consistent, good content all year. That's all. That's the only point.
That's not true.
Okay.
We can take a look at the last 2 seasons of The Flash.
The last 2 seasons of The Flash didn't happen.
more
this
like
year.
6.
They haven't been good.
The Flash came out this year.
Actually, Flash post-crisis hasn't necessarily been that good either.
Yeah,
But I don't
nothing
want to
else
go
really
there. I
good.
just want to look at 2022 as a whole.
Yeah, that's
You
what
brought up the Batman. You brought up
This year.
Peacemaker.
this year.
Right.
This year.
This year.
So what else? What else has Disney done this year? Let's see. Doctor Strange, you love that one. Thor: Love and Thunder, that was your
No,
favorite.
I did not say I love that
Miss
one.
Marvel, amazing.
This
Vivid.
handsome fellow over here, he may have loved that one.
just
I never
saying,
said I
what-
loved it.
Hey. Let's not get him on the multiverse of madness thing. No one called anyone a jive turkey. No one.
Yeah,
Let's
so
get
I'm
back
going
to the
back
good
that.
stuff.
Yeah, I would like.
Stargirl's
I would
really
love
good.
to
I've been
see
watching that.
Marvel. I would love to see Marvel get back on a more cohesive, good foot across the reaction, across the fan reactions.
I think it's impossible. You know, like it's like it's a really bloated line. You know, I think we have to get to the point where like truly, hey, not every Marvel project is something you have to see. Where it's like, hey, you can enjoy this, you can enjoy that. You know, it's kind of like Stargirl. You know what I mean? Like there's gonna be people that are gonna find it and they're gonna be like, this is great. And you know, it's only gonna get bigger. I hope they pivot to the special presentation thing where it's like, hey, you know, we have a really good idea for an hour. Let's not stretch this into 6. Because that's what some of these shows feel like. It's like one good idea. Huh?
Wasn't Moon Knight this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Exactly. It's very forgettable. So, you know, those things, you know, it's.
Ms. Marvel was this year too.
But people like Miss Marvel. I didn't finish it, but, you know, it wasn't, you know, something that was like you watched and you're like, why did they, you know, turn this like half, you know, hour and a half movie into 6 hours?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we like, oh God, why'd you have to bring up Titans? It's been a good year.
Yeah, Titans is really bad. Come on.
I think that, dude, that show is like great at starting strong and having a great premise, and it's just it feels like, dude, it's hard to put your finger on like the X factor of that show that just makes it feel off. If that makes sense. There's just
You know what I feel, and you never want. I don't know how. I'm sure they're great people that write that show and stuff like that. It feels like they'll have like the A writer on the first 2 episodes, and then they're like, you know what? Let's bring on to someone that's never worked on this show for this 1 episode. And then you watch that episode, and you're like, did you watch the rest of the show? This is such a weird turn for all these characters. You've brought in new plot lines. You've done all this. And it's like, are you guys all in the same room? Are you guys Zooming with each other? Are you guys like saying, hey, you got this episode, break? And then you guys all come back together and you're like, all right, let's film this.
Yeah, it was definitely odd. But man, those first 3 episodes were great. I hated to see Hawk go, but then Amazon did something and they gave us Reacher. They're like, we need him for something else.
Yeah, I mean, Hawk, that was a cool death. Obviously, that was early and stuff. Dove, like, I wish they kind of put her in part of the core group because I feel like she was a really good character. The Donna Troy death and return were some of the dumbest things I've ever seen in like a production of that like scale. Like when she got electrocuted, that was a bad death. And then when she came back, it was weird. Like she was saving Batman from a burning building.
Did you read Marvel versus DC from the 90s? The ones that the comics got to vote on? Wonder Woman fought Storm. You know how Storm beat her?
How?
Electrocution. So
that's a really good idea in a comic, but then
I'm saying, like, I don't know if that's just like a standard vulnerability kind of thing for Amazons, if they're just you know what I mean? Like,
it wasn't the electrocution thing. It was just the way it was shot. It was like the worst thing since Talia al Ghul dying in The Dark Knight Rises. It was like the way they like did it. It was just bad. But again, let's end this on a positive note. I'm tired of talking about Titans. I don't want to fight Chris about Multiverse of Madness and Sam Raimi. We're getting close to the end of the year. I'm all positive this time of year.
All right, so positive stuff only. Ezra Miller pled not guilty to the charge of going to his neighbor's house and grabbing a bottle of booze. If you read it on the internet, Ezra Miller pled not guilty to breaking and entering and is facing 26 years in prison, yet he's out on a $500.
Listen, Vermont doesn't play.
He's out on a $500 bond.
I was like,
his bond was only $500. That's how not serious this is. And just to add context to this, all these charges that these occurrences, these charges, these things that have hit headlines, all have to do with him and his friends. Like the fights that he gets into at parties with him and his friends. The trespass that he got was from the house that he was staying at in Hawaii with the friends he got in a fight with the night before. Like the neighbor's house, how did he even know where that bottle of booze was that he went in there to grab? You know what I'm saying? These are all just spiteful, crappy kids bickering with each other is what it looks like.
But they're like 30 and they have a problem.
Exactly.
They have a problem. They should.
I think you're missing the bigger point here, though.
Yeah,
he's a garbage actor. Like, why would you care?
Well, I think didn't they announce, like, I don't know if this was confirmed, that they are moving beyond Ezra Miller after this movie. They're getting this movie out, and that's all that WB is trying to do with him.
It is unbearable to look at. A lot of these
reshoots have to do with, and what's so sad is, like, David Zaslav came in and he watched all these movies: Aquaman, Black Adam, The Flash, Shazam, Fury of the Gods. He watched all of these because they're done to a large degree. Like, they're doing reshoots and fine tuning. But they should
have been out by now.
That's what
Flash was June.
All of these were originally stated to be out this year, but he said that it's amazing. Like, he said it was amazing. All the test screenings that they've done with it, before reshoots, after reshoots, everyone's walking out giving these ridiculous high scores. People that are aware of Ezra, aware of his controversy, that probably the same ratio watching it that don't like him. The people that go to these test screenings are probably hyper aware of what's going on with these actors and stuff, and might be more in tune with this stuff. And they're still coming out saying, holy shit, that was amazing. This studio believes in this movie on like an unprecedented level to keep throwing money at it. It's a $200 million budget that they're still pushing, and they haven't even done like the marketing push for it yet, because so there's something about this movie that everyone's like, shit, you know what I mean? So
like Michael Keaton's back has to hurt after carrying this.
is because he
so
plays
curious.
like 3 main characters in the movie. If they were just a Flash in it, they would have probably tried to reshoot it around them and stuff like that. But they literally play like 3 characters in it, so they can't.
Yeah, as a reminder, everybody, don't forget to put in hashtag We Are Legion. We'll be drawing for the winner here in just a few minutes. I'm flipping through this some more, but yeah, I'm very curious to see what's up with that movie. There's something to it.
Just the flip side of the whole Ezra Miller saga is he doesn't seem to have any PR control. Like there's nothing from his camp whatsoever, and that just kind of makes things worse. Like everything just kind of compounds. Like there's no statement, no, hey, this is what happened. He never tells his side of the story, and that's why it's going to be. Yeah,
we actually all talked about that live. We said like when he was like on the run for kidnapping an adult that was willingly with him, like the media's like trashed this dude more than what he's actually done. But when he was on the run, we all talked about it and said he just needs to come out with an apology and go sit in his room until this all blows over. And that's what they've done. They finally did get that apology out. Now they're just keeping him under wraps. And as far as this dude kidnapping people, doing X, Y, and Z, bro, everyone knows where he is. It's not a secret where he is. If he was wanted by the authorities, they would just go pick him up. He's not hiding. It's in the news where he is every week. He's out. He's on that set working. So obviously he didn't kill nobody. I think this has gotten so overly sensationalized and potentially super damaging to what they're working on. And I'm not like an Ezra Miller apologist. I'm just trying to put this into perspective. Like
I think it's benefited him because at least people are judging him for his personal life and not his acting.
He's just an actor in a very high profile franchise. If Marvel had a bad boy or a bad girl, it would be the exact same thing with, just making a 6 o'clock.
Marvel handles PR once you sign that contract.
See, like what he said.
All right, you sign the contract, you get PR, you get a workout plan, you get a gym. Like they control all that.
Yeah.
You get a will.
Like Flash says, like the PR should be telling us all this, but I think that would be a bad look. And I think what Dan's saying is more along the lines like, you just let these people pitch their hissy fits, try to get their social media views, try to get people to hit on their little little clickbaity articles and stuff. Just let them do their thing and just let it work out. The more you come out there and say these people are lying, know this, the more you like getting on the defensive and stuff. It looks like that.
It's the sad part is he's just starting to build a history of this irregular behavior. Like it's like we had the part where he took out that girl in the back alley, like put her on the ground or whatever, and then it was silent for a little while, maybe even over a year or two, and then it's just he's had a bad 2022.
Yeah, that was definitely our warning.
Yeah,
because it just took off after that. We definitely need to talk about Kevin. I think that's like looking at his, because I went back and kind of looked up the guy because I wasn't familiar with his other stuff or his history in Hollywood and all that. And what it looks like, he was an emancipated teenager at the age of 17 who took himself to Hollywood and actually made a name for himself doing a lot of indie drama type flicks. He kept getting casted as the troubled teenager because he could portray that really well. Having him play as Barry Allen and Quirky was a little bit outside of his normal realm, but he does a lot of hyper drama stuff, including a film called We Need to Talk About Kevin, where he plays an active pew in a school. I don't know what you can say on here without getting your stream yanked down, but he has troubled teenager roles all throughout there, and he has no like guidance from people that are caring about him and like taking care of him. So it was like about to be like one of those child actor like tragedies, like in his early 20s, that this was just the culmination of that starting to happen. So like in my opinion, like taking all this stuff into actual context, like if he can stop, hit the brakes, actually self-reflect, see where his behavior was going and try to do some corrective like life lessons here, he might be able to save his own life, because where he's heading is like, we see how tapes like this play out in Hollywood with different actors all across the board, and it's never good. He could be a tragedy story averted, hopefully. Considering what celebrities have been doing in the past, this is how nothing new. Exactly. The difference is they're doing something about it now. Exactly. I can tell you about having your streams taken down. From a legal standpoint, it can hurt your case. From a public standpoint, you can come across as a jerk. Yeah, coming out trying to correct everyone's narrative of you. And you know how that works. Like one person puts out an actual article and everyone else just writes an article that they after they read their article. You know, like Vanity will put out an article, then Comic Book News will put out one based on Vanities, and Giant Freaking Robot based on theirs, and it's just a telephone game with information. So when they say he's going into therapy, he really needs therapy. Yeah, he does. Are you talking about the movie we need to talk about, Kevin? Yes. Yes. Absolutely. So let's run this giveaway real quick.
I'm going to dip out, Mark. Thanks for having me, guys.
Always. Appreciate you being here. I'm going to share this screen right here. Giveaway tool. Share. We're going to do this giveaway, and we're going to talk about comics curing cancer. So I'll give everybody another chance. Put that hashtag in the chat, and I'll give you another second while we discuss comics curing cancer. It starts this Friday at 7:30 a.m. right here on this channel, and this is going to be the second annual event where us in the comic community are coming together like butt cheeks in an effort to raise money to battle that bastard known as cancer. Last year, there was roughly $8,000 raised. This year, we're hoping to exceed that. And we are going to be doing it a little bit different. Instead of it being on just one stream this time, it's going to be bouncing over from different streams. So it'll start on my channel, and we'll run that hangout until it ends. And then we will move over to the next stream and the next stream. If you check the description to all of my videos for this week, it'll give you all the information you need, as well as you can go ahead and start donating now. That would be great if you do. All the donations from now all the way through it are tracked on the official American Cancer Society's website, because this is an actual registered event with them. We exist on their platform. All the donations go 100% straight to them, no middleman. And come Saturday night, anybody who's donated $25 or better gets their name put on a thank you wheel, and we'll be spinning for prizes. Each of the shows that are going to be featured for this event will have their own fundraising and fun stuff and auctions and sales that will be going on. We'll have Randy from Legal Burning right here on the channel Friday doing a live piece and bringing some stuff to get rid of, as well as prize packs. I'll have a bunch of blind packs with 6 to 10 comics in them. There's some minor keys that I've got that'll be included in there as well. Potentially a couple of bigger minor keys, if that makes sense. And so aside from just picking one of those up, you'll also get your name put on the giveaway wheel. So good stuff. There we go. All the Cockslam Cancer hashtags. That is the official hashtag for C3. Hashtag Cockslam Cancer. I'm going to start a news company on the level of being freaking robot, just report whatever I want. If I win, it's just a giveaway during C3. Hashtag butt cheeks versus cancer. There we go. I'm back like Michael Myers in the chat. Ryan, are you going to, have you gotten it worked out to possibly see Black Adam before Sunday night?
Actually, the kids are going to my mom's this weekend, so more than likely.
Dude, that would be awesome, man. So for those that don't know, every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, at Weeks in the Spoiler Field, look back at This Week in Comics and More. When we have a big movie release, we try to do a show more dedicated just to the movie, talking spoilers on it, just a free stream to be able to actually come in and talk about and be hyped and or be mad either way about the movie. So I hope everybody can check that out. We'll go see it. And if you don't plan on seeing it, go see it anyways and come hang out. So let's spin this thing. We got 26 entries. We got 30 watching. That's close enough. And the winner of Deceased issue number 3, the acetate variant by Kel New, is
me.
Oh, I thought it was about to be Dan again. Pops at it. You don't need it. We're gonna spin again. Don't. I only picked up one copy this time, Pops, so I give it to you and spin it again. So the winner is Norman.
That was gonna be Pop Static again.
Yeah. Yeah, Pops had already put in there. Spin it again. Comic Vet will be there this Sunday night. Also, I know that we'll should be having Nick's Kicks and Comics on there with us. DJ Link's on there with us. I'm not going to overpack the panel. Dude, when Spider-Man came out, when Spider-Man came out, there's just too many people on that panel that night, and you don't really get any cohesive conversation going. It's just everybody accidentally stepping on each other's sentences. Try to keep it at a good number. That way it can actually be enjoyable. And then we'll also run a giveaway that night. There'll be a Black Adam giveaway Sunday night on At Week's End. So be sure to come check it out. Definitely one of these first appearance of Black Adams will be going up on there for sure. So you read anything this week?
Well, I'm like halfway through World's Finest. But it's been an extremely busy day. Last night I read the first 2 issues of Stormwatch, though. That's been interesting.
Yeah, we all of those are for sale. I think there's a lot of them. I don't know if anyone picked any up. All of Stormwatch, that first volume, is for sale on Pop's Attic, minus the 2 issues that are affiliated with Midnighter's first appearance, which I kept.
Nice.
Ryan reading the entire Tom King catalog.
Yeah, it was good too.
Send those away. Which trades?
Stormwatch?
I don't know. Speaking of trades, the Augusta Book Exchange, my LCS, donated this for C3 today. This awesome hardback slip sleeve for Black Adam right there, which has 3 definitive Black Adam stories in there, including Black Adam JSA Black Rain, which the movie pulls heavily from that. With that's when Black Adam decided that Kandak is mine and I will go have it now. So that's pretty dope. That'll be included in there. I picked up a massive amount. Watch your legs, baby. Let back up. I picked up massive amounts of stuff today for C3. This is all stuff for Friday. Ugh.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to be taking a lot of those and spreading them out, putting them in those grab bags. And I've got a stack of minor keys and stuff as well, some older stuff as well as some newer stuff. We'll get spread out in them so people have a chance at some packs that are well above value. What is up, Coco Loves Chevy? So yeah, we just passed that hour mark. I'm about to wrap it up. Monkey, you ready to wrap it up? No. What are we doing then?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No.
All right, well, I should wrap it up then, right?
No.
No. What are we going to do?
Nothing.
No, we got to do something. What are we going to do? Tell Ryan what we're going to do. She's just going to look at your spirit animal, bro. Oh, he just hit me with a gotta run. All right, well, that's going to be it for today, Monk. What do you tell everybody? Nothing? You got nothing? Oh. I appreciate everybody hopping in and hanging out today. Appreciate everybody joining in that giveaway. Hope everybody gets a chance to go out this week and see Black Adam and join us Sunday night where we'll be spoiling it, having fun talking about it. Definitely excited for it. We'll give away one of these first appearances of Black Adams that came out today. Very excited to have those. And until next time, everybody, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.